What if the chaos you're witnessing isn't random at all, but the fulfillment of ancient warnings whispered across millennia? Swarms darkening skies, celestial upheaval, a world teetering on the edge. Every sacred tradition predicted this moment. They called it different names, but the meaning was always the same: the final reckoning. There's a prophecy so old, so universally feared, that it transcends religious boundaries and cultural divides. It appears in Abrahamic texts, in Zoroastrian fire temples, in Vedic scriptures, in Islamic eschatology, always with the same terrifying essence: a final judgment, a cosmic shift, a moment when everything humanity thought it knew gets shattered and rebuilt. The Book of Revelation calls it the third woe, the last and most catastrophic in a sequence of divine trumpets announcing the end of an age. But here's what makes your spine tingle. We might not be reading about some distant future. We might be living it right now, in late 2025, watching ancient prophecies materialize in real time. The third woe isn't just another plague or disaster. It's the culmination of ignored warnings, the final call before reality itself transforms. It's described as armies marching that resemble locusts, but aren't natural creatures. They're organized, commanded by unseen forces, bringing devastation that goes beyond physical destruction. They break systems, shatter certainties, force humanity to confront what it's become. But here's what almost nobody realizes: this isn't exclusive to Christianity. Zoroastrians speak of frashakareti, the final renovation through molten metal and fire. Hindus describe the end of Kali Yuga, the age of darkness giving way to renewal. Muslims know it as Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of standing when all creation is held accountable. Different names, different languages, same core truth. And that's where it gets unsettling, because these traditions don't just describe vague cosmic events, they give specific, observable signs. Signs you can verify, signs you can see unfolding in headlines, in scientific data, in the very fabric of modern existence. We're talking about coordinated destruction, celestial disturbances, earth convulsions, moral collapse, false prophets rising, and humanity's severance from the sacred. The Revelation describes locust-like armies with precision organized, relentless, operating under singular command, devastating everything in their path. Not a metaphor, a pattern that repeats across cultures that never contacted each other, millennia apart, yet describing identical phenomena. But here's where it shifts from academic to personal. These prophecies weren't written for scholars to debate, they were written for people living through them. For you, for us, right now. And the most disturbing part: the signs aren't coming, they're already here. The convergence isn't theoretical, it's happening. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. That's what we're diving into: not speculation, not conspiracy, but observable reality matched against ancient wisdom that knew this moment would come. How modern warfare and natural plagues mirror ancient prophetic descriptions. Let's talk about something that should make every rational person pause. The Book of Revelation describes armies that move like locusts, synchronized, devastating, operating as a single organism under invisible command. And for centuries, people assumed this was purely symbolic. Until now, because in the last 5 years, the world has witnessed the worst locust infestations in generations. Not ordinary swarms, we're talking about super-locust plagues that darken skies, devour entire harvests in hours, cross international borders unchecked. East Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, all experience these biblical-scale infestations that left economic ruin and famine in their wake. Scientists called them anomalies. Ancient texts called them warnings. But that's not what should really disturb you. What should disturb you is the military language that dominates modern warfare. Swarm tactics. Drone swarms that operate in coordinated formations. Autonomous systems attacking from multiple angles simultaneously. Weapons that function like living organisms, each unit connected to a central intelligence, moving as one entity with devastating precision. Sound familiar? Because it should. The prophetic descriptions weren't just about insects. They were about a pattern of coordinated destruction that would manifest in multiple forms. Natural plagues and technological warfare. both exhibiting the same terrifying characteristic: organized, relentless, operating under command structures that transcend individual units. And here's where everything shifts. Zoroastrian texts describe armies of Angra Mainyu, the destructive spirit, as swarms bringing famine and despair before the final battle between good and evil. Hindu scriptures speak of Kalki arriving in a world devastated by plagues and wars where natural order has completely collapsed. Islamic traditions mention Yajuj and Majuj, destructive forces emerging in end times, advancing like an unstoppable plague consuming everything. These texts were written thousands of years ago by cultures with zero contact, yet they all describe the same phenomenon with eerie precision. But here's what almost nobody notices. We're not just witnessing these manifestations separately, they're converging simultaneously. Think about it. Natural locust plagues devastating food supplies. Military swarm technology revolutionizing combat. Global supply chains collapsing. Mass migrations driven by regional instabilities. All happening at once. All fitting the ancient pattern. The prophecies didn't predict one specific event, they predicted a convergence of multiple destructive patterns that would signal a fundamental shift in human existence. And that convergence is happening now, right in front of us. The question isn't whether the signs are here. The question is whether we're willing to see them. Why are celestial phenomena aligning with ancient end-time predictions? The third woe doesn't stop at earthly events. It speaks of signs in the heavens, cosmic disturbances announcing irreversible transformations. And here's where dismissing this as coincidence becomes intellectually dishonest. Recent years have seen unprecedented astronomical and atmospheric activity, near-Earth asteroids passing at distances that make astronomers nervous, rare eclipses aligning with significant dates across multiple religious calendars, auroras appearing at latitudes where they've never been documented, solar activity intensifying beyond predicted cycles. Meteorologists call them anomalies. Ancient prophecies called them divine warnings. But the most disturbing aspect isn't the events themselves, it's their increasing frequency. It's the growing sense that the cosmos is trying to communicate something we're refusing to acknowledge. But that's not even the strangest part. What really demands attention is when you cross-reference these celestial events with what's happening on the ground. Volcanic eruptions have increased globally at rates that puzzle geologists. Devastating earthquakes have become almost routine. Extreme weather events, hurricanes, floods, droughts, wildfires are shattering every historical record. And here's where everything changes. Because Revelation describes exactly this. An earth in convulsion, planet rejecting humanity itself. Zoroastrians called it Iokasusta, the moment when creation rebels against the corruption infecting it. Hindus describe Pralaya, the cosmic dissolution preceding each new existence cycle. Islamic texts speak of Zilzal, the great earthquake announcing the day of judgment. Every tradition agrees on one crucial point. When earth and sky convulse together, it's not coincidence. It's a pattern. It's a signal that something larger is in motion. Not climate, not geology. A pattern that repeats across every major spiritual tradition. A pattern manifesting now. Scientists confirm we're experiencing planetary instability unprecedented in recent centuries. But ancient traditions knew this millennia ago. They just used different language to describe the same phenomena. The convergence of terrestrial and celestial upheaval, happening simultaneously, matching prophetic timelines with unsettling accuracy. And the most disturbing realization, this isn't building towards something. We're already in it. If something in this video is resonating deep within you, drop the word awakening in the comments. And if you feel you need to understand more about these converging signs, hit that like button and subscribe, because this journey into ancient wisdom and modern reality is just beginning. How independent prophecies from disconnected cultures point to one timeline. Here's what nobody wants to talk about. The third woe isn't a Christian exclusive. It appears across every major spiritual tradition on earth, each with its own language, its own cultural context, but all describing the same event. A collective judgment, a purification through chaos, a moment of definitive choice for humanity. This isn't coincidence. This is convergence. Ancient Zoroastrians described Frashakareti, the moment when the world passes through a test of molten metal and fire, where the righteous are purified and the corrupt are consumed. This wasn't poetic metaphor. This was a literal description of a global transformation process forcing every human being to confront their choices, their intentions, their deepest essence. But here's what almost nobody realizes. This exact concept appears in Vedic traditions as the end of Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, where truth is distorted, where dharma is abandoned, where chaos reigns supreme. But this age doesn't end in total annihilation. It ends in renewal, but only after an intense period of trials testing every soul. And this is where everything shifts. Because when you overlay these prophecies, when you place them side by side, you realize they all speak of identical signs: endless wars, widespread famine, loss of spiritual values, nature's degradation, false prophets emerging en masse, and most importantly, a humanity that has severed its connection with the sacred. Every tradition agrees on another crucial element. This judgment period isn't random. It's cyclical. It has happened before, in different eras, in different forms. But this time is different. Because this time, humanity possesses the knowledge and technology to either completely destroy itself or radically transform. We're not just experiencing isolated prophecies fulfilling. We're experiencing their convergence. Islamic traditions describe minor and major signs of al-Qiyamah, many of which have already manifested or are manifesting now. Buddhists speak of the Dharma's decline period before the next Buddha's arrival. Indigenous traditions worldwide have their own prophecies about the time of great change, and all of them point to now, to this specific moment in human history, to us, here, living through what was foretold. What do you do when you realize you're living inside a prophecy? So if all these prophecies are genuinely fulfilling before our eyes, if the signs are undeniable, if the pattern is clear, if the convergence is real, what does that mean for you? Watching this in December 2025. It means you're not a passive observer of history. You're an active participant in one of the most significant moments of human spiritual evolution. And that carries a responsibility that can't be ignored. Because the third woe, in all its religious and cultural manifestations, isn't just about destruction. It's about choice. It's about discernment. It's about waking up. The psychological and social impact of what we're living through is undeniable. Collective anxiety has skyrocketed. Existential crises have become normalized. People are searching for meaning in a world that appears to be unraveling. But here's what almost nobody sees. This unraveling might not be an ending. It might be a purification. Every major spiritual tradition teaches that moments of intense chaos are also moments of greatest transformational potential. They're when the veil becomes thinnest, when the sacred approaches the profane, when humanity is forced to make real choices about who it truly is. And this is where everything changes. Because the third woe isn't just a prophecy of destruction, it's a prophecy of revelation. It's the moment when everything hidden gets exposed, when all masks fall, when every corrupt system gets dismantled, when every lie is revealed. Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Is it painful? Without question. But is it necessary? Perhaps it's exactly what humanity needs to wake from its collective spiritual slumber. And here's the most unsettling part. You can no longer pretend you don't see it. The signs are here. The convergence is real. The pattern is undeniable. And now, you have a choice. You can ignore it, you can deny it, or you can face this reality and ask yourself, what role do I play in this spiritual timeline? Am I a spectator or a participant? Am I just watching the world change? Or am I transforming with it? Your answer to these questions doesn't just define your future, it defines humanity's collective future. Because the third woe isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you, through me, through all of us here at this precise moment of human history. The signs are given. The prophecy is fulfilling. And what you do with this revelation determines everything. If this video touched something deep within you, let the word transformation in the comments. If you feel others need to see this, share it with the word revelation. And if you want to continue this journey of spiritual awakening, Leave your like and subscribe, because we're only beginning to decode the deepest mysteries connecting all sacred traditions.